It's preparing
Yay!
the live stream.
We are now streaming live on YouTube.
Cool.
All right, so today on our Lightworkers to Success, we are going to be talking about how to deal with the unknown with the election that's going on. So we have our usual people here. Rebecca will probably be joining us next Friday, and we're looking forward to her finally coming back and making her triumphant return. So just remember to like this video if you like what we're doing, subscribe to our channel, and keep following us, and make sure you click that notification on the bottom there for us. So I'm probably the right person to be talking about this, because I am not an American, although I have so many American friends that I feel like I am. I actually live in Canada, but this election really affects the entire world, and on what's going on, and regardless on who you want to win or who you would like to win, or not like to win. I mean, there's a lot of unknown factors right now. So what we wanted to share was just some ideas that we have come up with, or that we're sort of thinking on how we're dealing with it. And so maybe Amanda, did you want to go first and let us know some of your ideas?
Yeah, one of the things, because I work with seniors and they get really worked up with the news and what the news is feeding them, and I have a couple of clients get really really worked up that if their candidate doesn't win, then their whole world's going to be over. And so I have to go in there and remind them that, hey, it's still going to be the same. You're still going to be able to, I mean, I don't know what will change for them in terms of, I mean, they think their whole life is going to be over and done with. So I want to just give them a higher vibrational message and just say, it's going to be okay. We're still going to be able to eat, sleep, breathe, and I said, and we really can't focus on the what ifs right now. We really have to just take it day by day, right? We have no control as individuals. We have no control over the outcome. But what we can do is send energetically everybody unconditional love. That's, from like starting with yourself and then moving on to your immediate family, moving on to your community, and then moving on to just having that unconditional love being spread out and eventually throughout the whole world. And if you can just hold that vision and hold that thought and know that the best possible outcome is going to transpire. So that's what I believe in. That's what I'm having faith in. And I'm excited to see what everybody else thinks about this. Pamela, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I was just making sure I was unmuted. I think that's great advice. The other thing is, and it's one of the things that we kind of do this year round anyway, is stay off the news. I mean, I know everybody wants to know what's happening, but honestly, you don't have to stay on the news. You don't have to listen to the news 24/7. You don't have to turn the news on as soon as you wake up and go to bed with it, because that affects your mood as well. And especially if you're putting a lot of energy into what it's telling you. So I really encourage people to not get engaged in the news, not get engaged in the whole Facebook thing, because you're going to get back and forth with people doing that. And if you're really focusing on, just like you had said, putting out that energy, being positive, and just, like we believe, claiming that outcome that is going to be, and I'm not saying claim a certain person winning, but claiming that it's going to be for the best outcome for the world, because we realize that this isn't just about what's going to happen in the United States. There's so many other countries that this affects, and we want to have that energy and that healing go out to everyone. So if you can kind of keep, as for a management tool, I guess, a separation, be able to view it as that third party, and that it's happening outside of you and not to you, I think that will help manage some of that stress that because I've talked to some friends lately and they're like, oh my, kind of like you said your clients said, I just don't know what's going to happen. What am I going to do? And it's like, you're going to keep living. You're going to keep doing the same things you do every day. There may be some things that you have to adjust to, but this is not something you haven't. I mean, elections happen every 4 years in the United States. And every year, somebody's candidate doesn't win and somebody else's does. So it's not going to be the end of the world. And it's just being able to keep that perspective, because we all have what we want to happen, right? But keeping that perspective and just being able to stay as much as possible detached, using meditation, playing music that's going to keep your vibration up, anything that's going to keep you grounded and centered is what I would suggest.
Colette, do you
Adam,
want to go
if
next?
you,
Okay.
yeah, Adam looks like he's muted. Yeah, well, if you know me, I love the shadow work. And I feel like the election is really bringing up a lot of our shadows, a lot of the things that when we're busy, we're working, we're doing our day-to-day stuff that we can kind of push back and ignore. And so what I like to do is just really get curious about exactly how I am feeling. Like, what am I feeling right now around this election? And really just sit and just be with yourself like you would with a friend, right? If your friend was suffering and stressed out and having anxiety, like how would you be with them, right? Like you'd probably sit with them and soothe them and say what's going on. And so I just recommend doing that for yourself. And for a lot of people, I think it's bringing up, when we don't know what's going to happen, it's like being dragged on. And it's like anything in life, right? This is something that happens in life. We have things that come up. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know the outcome. We feel like we don't have control. And how do we handle it? And so just being okay with whatever you're feeling. If you're mad, be mad. If you're feeling powerless, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling like it's the end of the world, like that's okay. Just like, just welcome that in and be like, wow, I'm really feeling like my world is ending right now. And we try to escape it, right? But you can't escape it. There's no escaping yourself. No matter where you go, you're going to be with yourself and you're going to take those feelings with you. And if you don't address them, they're just going to be shoved back down into your body and trapped in there. And that's what we don't want. We don't want to start trapping these emotions in our body. And so if we can release them by feeling them, by welcoming them, by being okay with them. And sometimes this is hard to do by ourselves. And so I recommend finding a friend or a loved one, someone you trust to just sit with you, someone who's not going to try to make you wrong or shame you or tell you, oh, don't feel that way, whatever. Find someone that's actually going to be able to sit with you and just let you vent, let you just bring up all these feelings, let you cry or get mad, punch a pillow, whatever's going on. And if you don't have someone like that, reach out to us. We're all really good at that, holding space, clearing these emotions, because the last thing you want to do is start trapping emotions in your body, because this is almost like a traumatic event for a lot of people. Like Amanda was saying, people feel like their world is ending if their candidate doesn't win. They're just putting so much weight into this thing outside of themselves. It's kind of when you're like little and your parents get divorced or they're fighting and you feel like you don't have control over it. What do you do? So that's my first suggestion, is just to really be with whatever is there for you. Just have someone sit with you, someone that's gonna like ask questions, get curious, to really dig in there, see what's actually there for you. The other thing I just want to say, it's kind of what you ladies were talking about as well, is we give so much power away to other things, to candidates, to bosses, to whatever, partners. We give a lot of our power away. And I just want to invite you, like, what can you do? Like, what can you do in your life to make a difference? And so a couple stories that came up for me is there's a guy who the river was polluted. The farmers all their runoff was running into the river. and they tried to, pass laws, and they couldn't pass laws. And so this guy went like farmer to farmer up this river to explain to them, hey, these practices are polluting the river, we can't drink it. And they were able to get rid of the pollution because everybody agreed, like, okay, this isn't good, let's work together to clean this river up. And they did it. And so that's just one story. Another thing in India, they decided to make healthcare a community thing. They took it out of the big medical companies' hands. They got together and they made community hospitals that were nonprofits. And so then people have choice with their medical care. And the government didn't do it. The government didn't give them that power. The president didn't step in and say, okay, this is what we're doing. Like, people in the community got together and said, hey, we need to change this. And so I really want to empower you to think about, what is it that's really bothering you about this country? Like, what is it that's really bothering you about the laws or about your neighborhood? And just think of maybe one small thing that you can do,
I
whether it's
love that, Colette.
volunteering.
I love
Yeah.
that. And I wanted to jump in before Adam takes his turn because I'll forget. So the other day I did a live on our Acorn Life Mastery YouTube channel about a podcast I heard from Rascal Radio, and it was kind of the same thing. I don't know if you guys got a chance to listen to that or not, but it was from Steve Lurkin, and he was talking about, he was in from a very small town. His school was like 250 people, and so he was playing basketball, and they were in the playoffs and playing another school, and he said that there was another kid on another team who everybody made fun of. And he said, I'm not going to participate. I'm not even going to, I'm just going to sit here. I know everybody else all of his team started making fun of that other team member. And at the end, they won. His team won the championship, but he said he was leaving the court and he saw the other guy really like crying and sobbing. And he said he felt really bad. He felt really terrible, but he kept leaving, right? And he went and got changed and he went home, and it just felt so heavy on his heart the entire night. So then the next morning he got up, it was still heavy on his heart, and he got up, went to school. So it was just another school. They won the championship. He was on his way to math class, and he said that his coach was also his math teacher, who was also the principal of the school because it's so tiny. And he said, hey, Steve, and he said, and they were talking about the game from the night before and what had happened. And he said, yeah, but coach, I didn't participate. I didn't have anything to do with it. And he goes, but what'd you do to stop it? And I was just like, yes. What did you? You didn't. You didn't even. Even if you told like one person, like, "Hey, knock it off," like when you're with friends and they're being rowdy, and the teacher comes in and or like a substitute teacher comes in and all the kids are like rowdy. It's we're talking about like integrity and character, right? So when you're sitting there and you're allowing like all this chaos to go on around you, and you're just sitting there, you're not participating, but you're not stopping the other people from, from not acting out because there's a substitute teacher. You're not like, hey, knock it off. Like, this is a substitute teacher. Let's not give her, a hard time, or, whatever. You're not participating, but you're still adding, you're not being part of the solution. You're still part of the problem. So I think that is a great story to kind of reiterate, what are we doing as a community and as an individual to not add to the problem, right? How can we as light workers be part of the solution? That's a question for all of us.
Yeah, I love that, Amanda. And I did hear that talk on Rascal Radio, and really, really good. I know Oren took it to the next level. No, sorry, Chris took it to the next level on one that's called character. And he was talking about the different traits of character. So integrity, honesty, being humble, having patience with others, discipline, commitment, and self-mastery. When you really look at all of those, that really defines you as a person. And I was actually recently watching a video on LinkedIn, and it was probably the best political video that I've ever seen, where these two congressmen are running for seats in Utah. and one's Republican, one's Democrat, and they both did an ad together. And in this ad, they were talking about, I have my policies, he has his policies, and they're flipping back and forth. Regardless on who wins, we both agreed that we're going to work with each other on our own policies to make this even better. And I think what's really going on, at least from me being a Canadian and looking in on the outside of things, is that it seems like there is either both sides or one side that's really trying to divide the country, and they're trying to divide it for reasons, and I'm not sure of the reasons yet, but some of the reasons that I suspect that they are is for some kind of gain that they're looking to get out of it. And I know through my own character that that's not right. We should all be working together. I don't know how many times I heard "not my president." That's never been said in U.S. politic history ever that I can ever recall, anyways. And the more that we're going to divide, the more that there's going to be a big clash at sooner or later. And so, as light workers, my suggestion is try to find some common ground. Try to really seek out the truth and not what the mainstream media is telling you. If you're plugged into that, and that's the only spot that you're getting your information, it might not be the right information, or it might only be part of the information. I find that there's a lot of myth and disinformation through the mainstream media. And I don't know if it's because of an agenda or whatever, but since I have disconnected from the news, I still can tell you the race is close, it's tight. I can still tell you the major stuff that's going on in the world. And I don't know the last time I've watched CNN at all, or any kind of news station, including Fox. So I'm not Republican or Democrat. I'm Canadian. So I'm just going to repeat that, is I don't have a side. I'm just looking at it completely objectively. And by doing that, it really allows me to look at all the information that I'm hearing, and then creating my own common sense, and then going really within. So you know that gut feeling that you get when something's right and something's wrong. Well, that gut feeling is your internal mechanisms, truth mechanisms, that's going off. And so my suggestion, if you're really stressed about this, and I've talked to some Americans that I've reached out to that I needed some very important information about some investments and things I've done for them, and they didn't respond. And I'm like, hey, did you get this message? Like, I really need you to respond, and I need this information right away. I finally talked to them yesterday, and their answer to me, their response is, sorry, I've been watching the news. I'm so uptight about this. And I'm like, too uptight to even return a message on an investment that's important to you? You're too, like, that's stressing you out that much? Then you need to disconnect. And so my suggestions is very simply, disconnect from the news, disconnect from everything, go within, meditate, feel that energy inside of you, feel that gut feeling on, whatever is going to happen is going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it anyways now. And, however it's decided, if it's decided today or tomorrow, or, weeks from now or months from now, whatever it is, just know that it's for the greater good of everyone here, because the universe will always work for you when you're in complete alignment with it. If you're not in alignment with that universe or you don't even know what you want to create, well, then things are going to be created for you. So, we talk about this a lot, is get really crystal clear with your visions, get crystal clear with your goals, and the universe will line that up for you like that. Remember, Einstein told us that there's no such thing as time. Time does not exist. It's only an illusion. And it's been created by people that are living in the 3D world. Well, as you start to ascend, you start to realize that there is no such thing as time. It's starting to dissipate. We're starting to break through it. And if you're stuck in this election results and you're feeling that, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to keep ascending. You will get stuck, and it's going to bring you back and not bring you forward. So get into that 5D world. Know that just breathe, relax, let go, and things are going to be all right. Things are going to be much, much better. And whatever is going to happen, it's going to happen for the best of humanity. Learn to let go and just free fall. That's all I got to say is just let it go.
Thank you, Adam. I just wanted to remind, and I know we've talked about this before, but my favorite thing to do when I'm feeling anxious, and I'm feeling super anxious right now, so I don't know if I'm picking up on the collective, because all of a sudden I feel like a huge rock in my gut, feel super nauseous. So maybe that's just me, my way of saying, hey, let's do this practice that I do. I give this to my clients. So I put one hand on my heart and one hand on my solar plexus, which is your stomach. And I just close my eyes and I take a deep breath in. And I say these three things: I am loved. I am supported. Wait, what's the other one? What is it? I am loved. I am supported. I just had it in my brain. I am loved. I'm supported. I'm safe. Right? Because those are the three things that we want to feel every single day. We want to feel safe. We want to feel supported. We want to feel loved. Right? And so when we're being cranky or irritable or lashing out on other people, we're not providing that for ourselves or for others. So if you I don't care if you have to do that 10 times a day to bring yourself back into center and relieve some of those feelings that you're having in your gut, and just know that we all are going to be okay. um, that's one of my favorite things to do, to get back into center and to remind myself that no, you're fine, you're okay, you can't let this bother you.
Right. I actually posted in the chat that, like, for anybody who are watching either now or later, to share with us what do they do, how do they, because it may be they have something that we haven't thought about. So share, what is it that you do that helps you stay grounded and centered, because there may be other things that none of us have thought about yet, right?
That's a great idea. Thank you, Pamela, for that.
Colette, any final thoughts for you?
Yeah, I mean, as Amanda was talking, I mean, one of my favorite things to do is just make sure that the energy I'm feeling is mine. Because, we are picking up other people's thoughts. And so I just ask, who does this belong to? And be the earth or someone else. And I return it to sender with consciousness attached. And then I say Panbak, which is like a clearing statement. So that's one thing to just be aware of, is it even yours, that you're all the stuff that you're feeling, especially with all the energies going on. So that's one tool that I like to use.
Cool. Thank you. Well, I hope this helped, and I hope that each of you, watching this either live or on the replay, got some value out of this. And if you did, please post a comment down below. If you need us to connect with you and just hold space for you, we'd love to do it. This is what we do pretty much all day long, whether it's in masterminds or whether it's in, this type of healing state that we're in right now. So please, if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, hit the notifications, and we appreciate and love everyone, regardless on if you're Democrat, Republican, if you didn't vote or you did vote, doesn't matter. Just know that we're here, we're all in this together, and the more that we can unite as one, and we can live in the law of one, and we are all ascending into the fifth dimension, there's no judgments, there's no nothing anymore. Like, it's pure love and harmony once you're in the fifth dimension. If that is something that you're looking forward to doing or you want, then reach out to us and let us know on some little quick tips that you can do to keep sending. Just remember to keep your vibrations high, and there's lots of little tips that you can do that with. So appreciate everyone. Have a wonderful night, and I guess we'll know soon on who the new president is or who the president is continuing. So bye, everyone.